David Goggins stands as a modern-day colossus of mental fortitude, a living testament to what the human spirit can endure and achieve. His philosophy cuts through the comfortable illusions we tell ourselves about growth and success, revealing a path that demands everything, yet promises the only thing that truly matters: authentic transformation. This isn't about quick fixes or motivational platitudes, it's about the raw, uncompromising truth of human potential. We live in a world that worships at the altar of comfort. From ergonomic chairs to instant gratification, modern society has engineered discomfort out of existence. Goggins' life stands as a stark rebuke to this paradigm. His message is clear: comfort is the enemy of growth, and true strength is forged in the fires of voluntary suffering. The science behind this is compelling. Neuroplasticity research shows that our brains grow and adapt most when pushed beyond their comfort zones. Just as muscles require progressive overload to develop, our mental resilience strengthens when challenged. Goggins intuitively understood this long before it became neuroscience dogma. His approach to life is essentially progressive overload for the mind, constantly seeking challenges that force adaptation. This explains why he deliberately caps his success. When most people achieve a goal, they relax. Goggins immediately seeks a greater challenge. It's not masochism, it's wisdom. He understands that the moment we stop growing, we start dying. The muscle of resilience atrophies without constant resistance. His message echoes through time: protect your hunger as if your life depends on it, because it does. Goggins' childhood reads like a catalogue of human suffering, abuse, racism, relentless bullying. Yet these experiences became not his excuses for mediocrity, but the raw materials for his greatness. This represents perhaps the most revolutionary aspect of his philosophy: the idea that our deepest wounds can become our greatest strengths. Modern psychology often encourages us to move past trauma. Goggins suggests something more radical: we must move through it, study it, and ultimately weaponize it. His approach to his abusive father wasn't about seeking closure or apology, it was about performing what he calls a live autopsy on his pain, dissecting it until it could no longer control him. This aligns with emerging research on post-traumatic growth. Studies show that while trauma can break some people, others experience profound personal development following adversity. The difference lies in how we process and frame our suffering. Goggins represents the extreme end of this spectrum, demonstrating that even the most horrific experiences can be transformed into fuel for extraordinary achievement. David Goggins' 1-second decision is a mental strategy that transforms moments of discomfort into opportunities for growth. In that brief pause, when your mind screams to quit, you consciously choose discipline over emotion, purpose over pain. This single second becomes the defining moment where resilience is either built or broken. Rooted in neuroscience, this practice trains willpower like a muscle. Each time you resist the urge to give in and instead choose perseverance, you increase what researchers call effort tolerance, your brain's ability to endure discomfort in pursuit of long-term goals. Goggins has turned his life into a willpower gym, constantly putting himself in challenging situations to grow mentally stronger. The brilliance lies in how he reframes adversity, not as something to avoid, but as a tool to forge character. Pain is temporary, but the consequences of quitting can be permanent. That 1-second pause isn't just about enduring, it's about choosing who you want to become. Over time, these small, deliberate decisions stack up, building an unshakable, resilient mind. While the world obsesses over motivation, Goggins builds his life on discipline. This distinction is crucial. Motivation is emotional and fleeting, discipline is structural and reliable. His daily routine, pre-dawn runs, hours of meditation, relentless physical training, isn't powered by how he feels. It's powered by commitment to becoming someone who doesn't need to feel like it to do what must be done. Psychological research supports this approach. Studies on habit formation show that consistency matters far more than intensity. The people who succeed long-term aren't those who train hardest when motivated, but those who show up regardless of circumstances. Goggins takes this to its logical extreme, creating a life structure where discipline becomes identity. This explains his disdain for what he calls dreamers without work. The gap between who we are and who we could be isn't bridged by inspiration, it's built through the daily repetition of right action. Cognitive science confirms that lasting change comes not from grand gestures but from small, consistent behaviors that rewire our brains over time. Before we continue, I'd love to take a moment to sincerely thank you for being part of this journey toward personal beauty and endless growth. Your support, whether you're watching, subscribing, liking, or sharing, means the world to me. You are amazing, and I'm so grateful to have you here. Now let's back to the video. In today's world of curated highlight reels and constant self-branding, Goggins' philosophy of trained humility cuts through the noise with refreshing authenticity. His powerful example of William Crawford, the unassuming janitor who quietly served at the Air Force Academy while secretly being a Medal of Honor recipient, perfectly embodies this countercultural ideal. Goggins emphasizes that Crawford's story isn't just about modesty, but about a fundamental rejection of external validation. Here was a man who had performed extraordinary acts of valor in war, yet chose to sweep floors without seeking recognition or special treatment. This exemplifies Goggins' core belief: genuine strength operates independently of applause or social approval. The deeper lesson Goggins draws is about identity fluidity, the ability to transcend labels and ego, whether they're positive or negative. Just as Crawford refused to be defined by his heroic past, we must refuse to be limited by our personal histories or how others perceive us. True power comes not from accumulating accolades, but from developing the quiet confidence to do what needs doing, regardless of who's watching or what it might say about us. This mindset creates what Goggins calls operational humility, where your focus stays locked on the mission, not your image. It's about divorcing your self-worth from external markers of success, and finding satisfaction in the work itself rather than the recognition it might bring. In a world obsessed with personal branding, this approach becomes revolutionary, a way to maintain authenticity while pursuing extraordinary achievement. This aligns with psychological research on humility and success. Studies show that humble leaders often achieve more than their egotistical counterparts. Humility allows for continuous learning and growth, while ego creates blind spots. Goggins applies this by continually putting himself in situations where he's a beginner, whether firefighting or new athletic challenges, ensuring he never falls prey to the expert trap. Modern brain science provides fascinating validation for Goggins' approach, revealing how systematic exposure to discomfort fundamentally rewires our neural architecture. When we consistently push through challenging situations, our anterior cingulate cortex, the brain's conflict monitoring center, strengthens significantly, enhancing our capacity for emotional regulation and complex decision-making under pressure. Simultaneously, our dopamine reward systems undergo a profound shift, gradually becoming more responsive to the process of effort itself rather than just the end results. This neurological adaptation explains why disciplined individuals often find satisfaction in the work itself rather than just the outcome. Perhaps most remarkably, Our actual pain tolerance increases as repeated exposure to discomfort causes our neural pathways to recalibrate, effectively raising our threshold for what we perceive as painful or overwhelming. Goggins' extraordinary endurance capabilities aren't the product of some supernatural gift, but rather the predictable result of this rigorous, consistent training of both mind and body. His true distinction lies not in innate talent, but in his unparalleled commitment to engaging in this demanding neurological conditioning that most people consciously avoid. The science confirms what Goggins has demonstrated empirically, that human potential expands precisely to the degree we're willing to systematically challenge our perceived limits. While few of us will become Navy SEALs or ultramarathon runners, the core principles that fuel Goggins' extraordinary achievements can be adapted to any life. The transformation begins with consciously embracing discomfort through small, daily challenges, whether it's taking cold showers, waking up earlier, or practicing voluntary fasting. These micro-difficulties gradually train our brains to handle greater stressors. When facing obstacles, we can reframe our perspective by asking a powerful question: what will my future self regret about how I handle this moment? This mental shift connects present struggles to long-term consequences. The foundation of lasting change lies in building disciplined systems, creating routines and habits that function independently of fleeting motivation, ensuring consistency even when inspiration wanes. Equally important is developing the ability to study our pain objectively. When we encounter failure or trauma, we must analyze these experiences dispassionately to extract their hidden lessons, rather than being controlled by them. Finally, we must learn to cap our successes. The moment we achieve a goal, we should immediately establish a new, more challenging target to prevent complacency from taking root. These principles form a replicable framework for growth that doesn't require superhuman feats, but rather a commitment to incremental, consistent self-challenge in our daily lives. At its core, Goggins' philosophy is about radical accountability. Not the punitive kind, but the liberating recognition that we alone are responsible for our responses to life's challenges. This aligns with the psychological concept of internal locus of control, the belief that we shape our outcomes through our actions. Research consistently shows that people with strong internal locus of control are happier, more successful, and more resilient. Goggins takes this to its logical extreme, demonstrating what's possible when we fully embrace our power to choose our responses to any circumstance. David Goggins' life offers more than inspiration, it provides a blueprint for transformation. His methods are extreme, but the principles are universal. Growth requires discomfort, trauma can be transformed, discipline trumps motivation, and true strength is quiet. The forge awaits each of us. The flames of challenge and discomfort burn away weakness, leaving only what's real and enduring. As Goggins would say, the most powerful conversations you'll ever have are the ones you have with yourself when no one's watching. What will your 1-second decision be today? Will you step into the fire or retreat to comfort? The choice, as always, is yours alone.